Hello, welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz, and I will be guiding you on this journey today, as always. You know, um, so the last couple, I don't know, how long has it been? Like the last couple months, the last couple readings, I've really only been focusing on the human design profile readings because I felt guided, to focus mainly on those. And so, that's what I've been doing. But I am feeling like avoidant, I guess, of my own life. And I'm like, I could, I was sitting here, I'm like, I could like, do some tarot readings. Because what better way to like avoid yourself than to like talk to your friends and like get nosy into like their business and like, like what's going on with you guys. Right. And I'm like, what? I want to do zodiac sign readings because I literally just put out, I think I finished on Saturday, maybe like I finished the human design readings. So I didn't want to like do another round of those like quite yet. So anyway, that's what we're doing. I hope you're all doing well. I hope your anxiety is staying at bay. Like mine is high as hell today, and it has been for a little while. It just, I'm not going to bore you with my problems. I'm here to like talk about you. So let me introduce the decks to you, and also like I'm so glad that this tarot deck was happy to do this reading because I just was also not really in the mood to to like go through a bunch of decks to figure out like which one wanted to do the reading, because over here consent is everything, and anytime I use a deck for a reading, I did get consent from it to do it. Like, and what that means is I'll shuffle the cards until a card comes out, and it's a yes or no card, and it's plainly yes or no. It's usually like the Eight of Swords or the Three of Swords or the Tower, or like something that's like kind of plainly I am not in the mood, the Five of Cups. And then of course, on the other end of things, it would be yes cards. And the card that came out for this deck, which is the Midnight Magic mushroom deck, was the Empress, which was so perfect. And I was just so glad. Like I was like standing over at my wall of tarot cards because, oh my God, girl, like I counted them. I have like 70 tarot. I just have to stop. I like have to stop buying tarot decks. Although like I just found this Kickstarter. Anyway, after that one, no more. So anyway, yeah, like I was standing there and I was just like, oh my gosh, I just don't feel like, because usually like the one that I have in my head is not usually the one that I'll end up using. I'll like grab a couple and shuffle and see who actually wants to do the reading. But this one caught my eye, and then I also bought it at the same time that I bought the Mushroom Spirit Oracle. So just goes together really well, and I'm so happy to be able to use these decks because I haven't yet. I've had them for a couple months. I actually used it for one of the 333 readings that I did, which was also like, it was so beautiful. Those readings have been so cool. And again, thank you to those who have trusted me with that. But yeah, and I even, like I said, in that person's written, thing, I was like, oh my God, I haven't even been able to use this for anybody yet. So I was glad that, I'm glad to be able to use it. My only thing of disappointment is that I don't think this Midnight Magic deck has any psychedelic mushrooms in it or any psilocybin mushrooms in it, which is honestly disappointing to me. Just because of like the healing qualities of psilocybin mushrooms. Like I've been using psilocybin mushrooms for the last year as a form of wellness. And I mean, truly, I think that incorporating them in my own, like healing journey has just amplified it. And I don't think I would be where I am today if not for mushrooms. Like I've had so many amazing breakthroughs and aha moments, and which sure it might have happened anyway, but however, the mushroom spirit oracle does have golden teachers in it, at least. So there's at least one. But anyway, not that, whatever, I mean, it is what it is. I wasn't expecting like the whole deck to be, specific to that, that wasn't an expectation, but I did honestly kind of expect for there to be some in there, but what are you going to do? They're beautiful cards either way. And I'm just mumbling now. So, let's get into, is there anything else I don't think so. Let's get into your readings. Great. Hi. How are you doing? This is a reading for Cancer, wherever Cancer is in your chart. I hope you're all doing well. How are you feeling with Jupiter going direct? Seriously, I'm so curious, especially if you're a Cancer rising. Of course, like wherever Cancer is for you as well, but I'm a Cancer rising. So I believe that it's been retrograde since November 11th, and it just went direct, I believe on March 10th, I want to say. But anyway, how was the retrograde for you? Like, have you noticed any changes, differences, anything at all? I know, like for me, I swear, like work especially, money especially, practically slowed to like, whoops, like a complete halt. When, sorry, of course, like I really should actually close this. I'm like, if I'm going to chat for a second, sorry if this is like annoying, but yeah, money pretty much like stopped, like December, January, February, what is it? March. It hasn't been all that great either. Like I'm hoping that now that Jupiter is direct, that will change. Why is this happening? Though, does anybody know? Yeah, what is this? Okay, there we go. That's better. Okay, let me actually close this. Sorry. Okay, so yeah, but also at the same time, I really do feel like I have had substantial like inner work, especially around, my own worth. What that even like looks like, also even how that feels, especially, like with Cancer, right? Water sign, like how it feels. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely like a different landscape interiorly, but now I'm like, okay, I'm kind of ready to see the expression of that externally. So hopefully Jupiter going direct will help with that. Obviously, I mean, there's other transits and other, things happening. It's not just that one thing. So, death cap. Okay. Endings. Okay. Well, I keep wanting to say death cap for cutie. I'm like, what song were they? Let's see. None of these songs are ringing a bell for me. Like, I will follow you into the dark. soul meets body, and I will possess your heart. Maybe we should play a couple of the, like, I'm like I know, like if I heard it, I would, that is, no, that's way too many cards. My first thought was no, and then I was like trying to talk myself into it. But no, that just is too many cards. Even though, I mean, I know we usually end up, getting around 6 cards anyway, but see? 5 of Swords, which is one of the cards that came out, and probably the 2 of Swords also. Like I didn't see, I didn't see a couple of the cards, but I did see the 5 of Swords. So, see, if they want to come out, they will. 5 of Swords, 2 of Swords. King of Cups. The Emperor at the bottom of the deck. Wheel of Fortune, the Fool, 3 of Wands. Okay. Oh. Death in reverse. Interesting, because I don't shuffle reversals. Well, the Death in reverse came out for somebody though. I don't know. It might have been Gemini, and I clearly just didn't. I just put it back in there as reversed. But interesting. So we can see this, okay? All right. Let's read about the Death Cap, number 19, which simplifies down to a 1. Okay. Clearly this is poisonous, so don't eat it if you ever see it. The Death Cap mushroom is so highly poisonous, one mushroom can kill an adult, and it is responsible for most deaths relating to eating mushrooms. There is no way to remove the poison, even through cooking. The cap of it is usually a pale green to yellow and can sometimes be white. It has white gills, a cup-like vulva at the bottom, and a high skirt ring, which are good distinguishing elements. It may have a slight ammonia smell to it and likes to establish itself near oak trees during warm, wet autumn weather. Card meaning. Death Cap is a sign of endings, whether coming or already here. Death can sometimes feel like a negative thing, but death represents new beginnings too. Letting go of that which no longer serves you can feel very painful, and it may be that something you have held onto isn't allowing you to move forward. Endings can also mean many positive things, especially if it means there is an end in sight for something you have been working on or trying to achieve. This card is a blessing, but also a warning. Don't be alarmed and don't let fear or negativity in. Everything is as it should be. Know that there are greater things at work here. Don't resist what is coming. It is time to take your hands off the steering wheel and let what needs to fall away do so. Death always comes sooner or later, and resisting just delays the process. But with death comes new life. The death of something gives you building materials to start the new. What do you need to finish or bring to an end? What are you hoping will stop? Ask yourself, what do I need to let go of to bring what I desire into my life? Making it final, and remember, RIP is rest in peace. Let go and let it flow. Welcome a new start and go forth knowing it is for the greater good. I just heard, like from Kung Fu Panda. Like I'm like, let me find a Disney reference. Or I don't know if Kung Fu Panda is Disney, but the one where he's trying to accomplish inner peace, and the one with the peacock, what is that? The second one? Yeah. that is the second one. Because the third one, he found his dad and he went back to the panda place and all of that. But there's the seer in there. I believe is it a goat or something? But they just say something like, let go, let it flow or something. But I heard it in that voice actor's voice in my head. So anyway, interesting too that we have, two swords cards out here. We have the King of Cups, we have the Emperor, which is fire. So clearly whatever is, kind of going on, it's the mental process or the mental perception of it that we're like getting stuck in. The Five of Swords is a battle of wits. It's, competition. The Two of Swords is usually about indecision, analysis paralysis. Swords have to do with our mind and our mindset, beliefs, truth, honesty, how we perceive our realities. I also see swords as being the suit of ego, because that's generally where we tend to hear our ego is in our minds. And our egos are created by the experiences, the circumstances that we go through and the stories that we attach to those experiences, because humans are meaning-making machines. And our brains, it has to be able to explain things, so it can record it, right? Because that's what becomes our identity and our programming and our conditioning. And, it becomes the filter that, other experiences, connections, circumstances go through, right? Like we're constantly consuming our lives, and it's constantly going through that filter, and then it's kicking out a story. And a lot of that shit is outdated, right? And it's a lot of subconscious too. It's like a reflex. It's automatic. So it's interesting that we have the Two of Swords in the middle, because it's kind of on one side we have mental, I want to say strife, struggle. It's that could even be, the programming, because for me, the Five of Swords is a battle of wits. Whether you are trying to talk yourself into something, whether it does have to do with your own beliefs, whatever, stories are going through your head as well, good, bad, otherwise, right? It's the logic that you have, and it could even be fighting your own logic. It's a quote unquote win at all cost card as well, which is where I get that battle of wits thing from, because it's it doesn't, the truth kind of gets a little blurred in there, and it becomes pride, and it becomes just for the sake of being right. There could of course be other people involved as well, because generally on the Five of Swords, there's three people involved. There's usually two people that have either surrendered or given up, or they lost. And there's one person that's holding three swords, which would show that, they won. But it's the whole thing is at what cost though? And also have you lost the plot? It's a little bit of arrogance too, because it's wanting to be right. It's wanting to prove that you're right. And also, with swords as well, it is intellect and research and, experience that way, as far as, things that you have learned, like through reading about them, through researching about them, through, like, again, consuming content, like podcasts, YouTube videos, like whatever, TikTok, whatever it is, right? And it's almost kind of like if somebody comes in with a differing opinion, you're just like, nope. And I'm just gonna start like blasting all of these facts, quote unquote, that I've learned, and I'm seeing them as fact and truth because I resonate with them, right? Like there's something in there that I relate to, and that can be in anything. It's interesting because it's like it's really almost kind of like feeling stubborn. It could even be like wanting something to be true, for whatever reason, right? Like, who likes change? I mean, I'm a Taurus sun, so I don't. I'm not a big fan. I can be really pretty stubborn. It does take a lot to get me to move, but once I do move, you know, I move. But and also it's not even necessarily about like the change itself. It's the transition between here and there. Like that whole process and just the liminal space, that's the part that I hate. Like, if I didn't have to go through that, I feel like change would be a lot easier, if it just happened right away. But yeah, I want to read. This is the Orange Birch Bolet. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right, but we're just rolling with the homies. Okay. Battles fought valiantly. Okay. Battles fought valiantly can still end in failure. The orange birch bullet is at the mercy of foragers and snails alike. Interesting, because there's a snail over here too. I'm going to look up what snails mean. Though its damaged flesh may turn black, accentuating sustained injuries, it continues to endure defiantly and glow with beautiful autumn colors. Upright, no-win situation, conflict, perspective. Avoid being caught in a no-win situation. Not all battles need to be fought. Try to see a situation from all sides and learn to engage with patterns or with partners as a team, not as enemies. I mean, that really is like, trying to keep a sunk ship from sinking. Like, when do you call it? And this is mental, like this is something that's going on in your head. The Two of Swords can be not seeing a path forward yet, not knowing really like what to do yet. It's interesting because it's almost coming through a little eight of swordsy, like just, kind of a feeling like you don't have options, that there isn't a decision to be made. And honestly, maybe there just isn't right now. We have to acknowledge that sometimes the only decision to be made is that the Five of Swords, is not working anymore. And we are fighting a no-win situation for whatever reason it is, right? Whether that's a relationship that you're trying to keep intact, and whether that relationship is a friendship or, a romantic partner. Is it a job? Is it a lifestyle? Is it a routine that you have? Whatever it is, but it's like there's some sort of belief wrapped around it, and there's a perspective that you're seeing it too. I wanted to look up snails. I knew it was going to be something like slow and steady, kind of like the turtle is, but like the turtle kind of also has like the whole turtle in the hair, like, thing like to go with it. But let's see. The snail spirit symbolizes slow but steady progress, patience, self-reliance, and protection, encouraging you to embrace a slower pace of life. It teaches the value of carrying your home inner strength with you, finding joy in simplicity, and trusting your personal journey despite external pressures. In general, snail symbolism is letting you know that you need to slow down. Slow down, Savannah. In other words, this spirit animal is asking you, what's the big hurry? In any event, you have been spending so much time focusing on the goals that you have. In any event, you have been spending so much time focusing on goals that you have missed something. Thus, snail meaning says it is time to let go for a moment so that you will be able to see it. Alternatively, the snail symbolism is letting you know that any pace is a good pace. In other words, what seems like forever is just a small amount. Consequently, it would help if you released your beliefs about not getting things done on time. Be sure to trust your process, stay present, and chug along. Moreover, the snail meaning insists that there's no sense in causing yourself any more stress, which is like literally the Two of Swords. The snail symbolism is also letting you know that you have to use your time wisely, divide your priorities. Yeah. I also think too, especially since we have the King of Cups here, which is intuition and emotional maturity. It's like the highest expression of love as well, because we're talking cups here. Compassion, empathy, not only though, like, of course for yourself, but for anything else that you are interacting with throughout your life, because obviously, kings oversee a kingdom. People, look to them for guidance, but I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be that, but it's just kind of like how you are moving through either your own emotions or just like moving through these energies, or even, these endings here. And I mean, like I said, it is the highest expression of love. And it's one of those things too of like, if you are approaching something from love versus shame or programming, conditioning, ego, like that side of ego. And I'm saying that side of ego because this is that side of ego that we have, out here, which again is not like the better side. It's the because it's almost kind of like that is what is causing this Two of Swords here in the middle. And I want to read about that. Piggyback rosegill. The piggyback rosegill is a rare white parasitic mushroom that flourishes primarily on the caps of decaying clouded funnel mushrooms. Interesting. It's a good fit with this card, which indicates an intersection of ideas that can create a polarizing situation or battle of willpower. Upright, stalemate, recognition, efficiency. Trust your intuition to guide you. Trust your intuition to guide you through this stalemate. Use this opportunity to thoughtfully recognize the beneficial options available to you. Answers aren't often clear-cut, so try to be clever in your approach. And while we're here, I'm just going to read the King of Cups too. Verdigris Agaric, I believe is the name of this one. This card signifies a stable intersection. Interesting, both of these cards are intersections of emotions and impulses. which, like swords can be impulsive, like its cousin, the bold fly are like its cousin, the bold fly. And we have that cousin out here, the emperor. I'm like, wait, I've heard that before. Because I read the emperor, somebody else's reading. How interesting though, huh? The fly agaric, seen on the emperor card. The verdigris agaric reigns over the forest floor, but with a more subdued aura. Its color and vibe are cooler, but no less commendable. Upright, diplomatic, balanced, fatherly. This card inspires warm and civil diplomacy with an even-tempered patriarchal hand. Follow your intuition to expertly outmaneuver obstacles and bolster those around you through steady encouragement. Yeah, we might as well read the emperor. The fly agaric is an iconic mushroom, usually the very image we conjure up when we think of mushrooms. They grow large and strong and aren't afraid to flaunt their bright oranges, yellows, and reds, colors that broadcast their toxic effects to any creature who dares eat it. Like the Emperor card, the fly agaric has earned respect and can teach you a lot about control and leadership. Stability, discipline, dependability, leadership. You are being guided by the king of mushrooms. The fly agaric has the strength and stability to tower over small fungi. It has shaped fables, both ancient and modern, with its grand beauty and psychedelic properties. Okay, so we have a psychedelic mushroom in here at least. Embrace your leadership opportunity with a fair hand and calm and expanded mind, and follow through with your responsibilities. Because I think I said, like, in the intro, maybe that I was like kind of disappointed that the tarot deck didn't really have like a ton of or any, I thought, psychedelic mushrooms in it. But the Oracle deck, actually, the one psychedelic mushroom that it has, it actually put that in parentheses. And clearly the tarot deck didn't. So anyway, interesting, right? We have two cards that speak about intersections. We have two cards that speak about leadership. One would be like leading with your heart. One would be like leading with your skills, your abilities. The Emperor is confident, and like it's the divine masculine. So not like the gender, but the energy of masculine, right? Which is initiation, providing, going and getting, discipline, audacity, dude, confidence, right? Which is a bit of audacity as well. It's like really, it's like asking for what you want, because every what is the saying, like, you miss every opportunity you don't take, or something like that. And it's like everything is a no until you actually ask, right? I mean, there's been so many times I've been so surprised by a yes just by asking. And just random shit, like because I'm the one that's assuming that it's going to be a no, right? And it's usually because like it means something to me, like, but I just had to like get comfortable with, if it's a no, it's a no. But I mean, shit, if it's a yes, then hell yeah. I'm glad I asked. So it's that as well, providing. Like people say that the Emperor is all four kings wrapped into one. And of course the Empress would be all four queens wrapped into like, one archetype, right? So this is, drawing on, and in this case, since we have the King of Cups out here, it would be drawing in on your intuition, especially as a Cancer, right? I mean, I believe that the King of Cups is specifically Pisces, which there is a lot of shit going on in Pisces, or there was, We have a Mercury retrograde going on in Pisces right now. And I believe Mars is there because I keep seeing these videos about Mars conjunct the North Node, which is also there. The Sun is still in Pisces. I think Venus has already moved out of Pisces, at least. And of course, Neptune and Saturn have moved out of Pisces, but they moved into Aries. And this, the Emperor is an Aries card. So anyway, yeah, it's using your intuition, and also it's allowing yourself to approach things from the highest expression of love versus that programming, that ego, the anxiety that comes with just not really knowing what to do, or just, like having to make decisions. Like I said, like if you don't have to make an immediate decision, don't. Check in with, like, give yourself some time for your brain to shut the hell up and you being able to hear your intuition, because like your intuition isn't going to like be all loud. It just isn't. I also, like, dang, I wonder if I could, let me see if I can log into Instagram, because I just reposted this thing. Oh, actually, let me leave that open. Instagram.com. No. Oh yeah, good. Okay, let me see. Let me see. Oh, it already expired. Oh, rude. But it was something like, your intuition already told you. The rest is negotiating with fear. That's this. Your intuition already told you, the rest is negotiating with fear. Because that's, again, like, that's usually where we experience fear. I was trying to see, yeah, it's fine. I was trying to see if I could, like, remember the name of the person who posted that, but I can't even remember 5 seconds ago. I don't know why I'm trying to remember something I posted yesterday. So anyway, yeah, but like, it was something that said your intuition already told you. Anything else or whatever, the rest is negotiating with fear, because that's usually louder. The Brene Brown calls them gremlins. Those are usually louder. Self-limiting beliefs, pride, wanting to be right, like not, or resisting change, even resisting endings. Because it's interesting that we have this card of endings here, and we'll look at the bottom of the deck here as well. We have the Emperor, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Fool. 3 of Wands, 10 of Swords, the Death card in reverse, Queen of Wands, the Chariot. You know what? I don't know if we're going to get that far back. Oh, yeah, the 9 of Pentacles. It is also, like, kind of interesting, the similarities between, like, the colors. It can also just even be, the fight that you're putting in. You could be, like, in your perspective of it, the way that you are thinking about it, even the way that you are approaching it. You could be thinking, like, I'm taking an Emperor approach to this, right? Like, I'm giving it my all. I'm putting a lot of oomph, a lot of energy into it, but it's like really check in with yourself and really hone in on what that motivation is, And swords are about, honesty and truth too. There is some truth in there, but again, it's like, could that energy be well spent towards something that is clearly just not. Yeah, I mean, the book literally describes the Five of Swords as a no-win situation. Do you know that already? But for whatever reason, you're sticking with it, which is commendable. But also, it's like, again, like, when do you decide that you're on a sinking ship, and do you go down with it? Jack Sparrow didn't. I don't know. The Wheel of Fortune, I love this with the Two of Swords. It's kind of interesting. The hell? There's this like little baby bird head coming out of. Common puffball. The Wheel of Fortune is about things changing. Oh, it might be. I wonder. No, I don't know. Because I'm pretty sure, I thought this is like the symbol of Leo down here. And I was like trying to remember if the fixed signs are like on the Wheel of Fortune card. I cannot remember. But the Wheel of Fortune, and especially in the middle, especially on the Two of Swords, it talks about things changing. However things have been, they are going to change. I always see the Wheel of Fortune as a good card. I don't even care who it shows up on, where it shows up. I actually love the position that it's in because, it's talking about putting too much energy into a no-win situation. And the change, or the wheel that's turning is going to be moving towards the King of Cups and the Fool card. And the Wheel of Fortune is Jupiter. So if you, like me, have been in a period, a season of life where like you just haven't really known what to do. There just really even hasn't been a clear decision to be made, right? Which is really fucking uncomfortable. But also, if this period of time for you, like me, has almost like in a way forced you to even like, reinforce a spiritual practice, get back into a spiritual practice, like really connect in with your intuition, and also even make the decision that I'm following my intuition on this one. I'm not making decisions from fear. I'm not making decisions from shame. I'm not doing any of that shit, right? Because has that worked in the past? Absolutely. That's why we would do it again. But what was the outcome of that, right? And now it's, wanting to make decisions from like our own guidance and trusting ourselves. That's fucking beautiful. Common puffball. The common puffball literally throws fate to the wind by releasing an incredible number of spores into the air with the hope that some will find a fertile growing environment. This tarot card illustrates a complete cycle, as does the act of mushrooms sporing. Your goal is met. Now it's time for the cycle to begin anew, and you and your goals can continue to grow. Upright, luck, destiny, adapt, surrender. The wheel of destiny is ever turning. If you're in a bad spot now, wait patiently because good news is coming. Good times are coming. Well, both. Likewise, things may be great now, but be prepared to adapt when the energy suddenly shifts in the other direction. Treat others well, and those vibes will come back your way. Let the universe help you make decisions by listening to your intuition. And we already know that the change, whatever it is, like the wheel turning, is going to be in a positive direction. And we know that because we have the Fool on top of, if that's not the most positive effing, like confirmation for how things are going to be changing, especially on the King of Cups. And what I also think is really interesting is that on this King of Cups, like on the mushroom, I don't even know, can you see this? I haven't been using this light because I don't even know if that helps. Can you see that there's a ship in there? There's, like some fish. That's why I'm like, I believe that this is Pisces. But there's a ship in there. And so, like, no matter how slow we think the process is moving, there is still movement forward, even if the movement forward has been you locking into your intuition, you really anchoring into that trust of yourself and trusting your intuition as well. And no matter how slow it is, even, like talking about the whole turtle, analogy as well, right? Like the whole point of the turtle and the hare, I think, is that slow and steady literally wins the race, right? The Fool card says chicken of the woods. Chicken of the woods is one of the easiest mushrooms for beginner foragers to identify and is therefore a good representation of the young and innocent fool. Its bright orange and yellow hues stick out like a beacon in early and waning summer forests. Versatile in its culinary applications, from sandwiches to soups, and generous in its medicinal value, this mushroom will offer the forager a solid springboard to start their journey of becoming a mystical mycologist. Upright, new beginnings, risk-taking independence. That is probably exactly what you want in this Five of Swords and even this Emperor card. You've discovered a new passion. Nurture that childlike wonder with confidence and dive deep. Go experience the world for yourself. And even if it's a dreary day, you are going to become the powerhouse you know yourself to be with hard work and a keen eye. The only thing stopping you is you. That like wraps up the human experience. And I do want to read the Three of Wands at the bottom of the deck, which is literally about like stepping onto your path. Like, it's the Ace of Wands is that spark, something that excites us, something that motivates us. The Two of Wands is about planning for the future. Like, what am I going to do with this? What actions do I want to take towards this? How can I work with it? The Three of Wands is when you start to actually put that plan into motion. This is a card of travel, and similarly, the cedar apple rust is a fungus of travel in its universe. Yellow-orange powdery spores are transferred between apple and cedar host trees by attracting insects or a steady breeze. The parts of a plan are moving, changing, and expanding with red-hot gusto. A stable leader. Bro, how much leadership shit do we have in here? Like a shore breeze, pollinating insects drive by instinctual bonds, or you is needed to oversee this task. There's so much in here about leadership. And whether that is just, like being the leader of your own life, like taking control. I think this card even talked about like taking the wheel back. It's like the whole Jesus take the wheel. No. That's like, okay, thank you, Jesus. I got it now. Right? Like, I'll take the wheel back. I need to I need to pay attention where I'm going. I need to, like just make sure that the boat is like being steered in the right direction. I don't know why I keep having boat references, like sunken ships and Jack Sparrow and Moana even, because, when she sets off on her journey, she has to keep repositioning and just making sure that her boat is set to Maui's hook in the sky, right? And if she just, allowed the ocean to do that for her, which would be like the equivalent of Jesus take the wheel, she would be off track, And not to mention, by continuing to do that, then, that storm hits and she ends up on the island where Maui is, right? It's like you get to where you are meant to be, but like you have to also be part of that process, right? And I love too, I know this is probably long as shit, but I love too that we have the 10 of Swords behind the 3 of Wands, because it's like once things start moving, once you start putting or even that you have a plan in place, it's kind of like all of these cycling thoughts like come to an end. 10s are completion in the minor arcana. This is, it's there's nothing else to really consider. I love that even the Death card is behind it. The 9 of Pentacles behind that, right? It's like leaving a place of like anxiety, uncertainty, doubt, cycling thoughts, just whatever. It is, like just being kind of in your head a lot even. And then there's this, abundance on the other side of it. And here's that independence that you've probably been, really holding out for, just really digging your heels in with the 5 of Swords and the Emperor card. There it is. But also, dude, like this is happening now because it's the time to happen now. Because you have been through what you have been through, because you have been in the energy that you have been in. And like I said, if you have really been locking in with your own intuition, that is why things are happening now. And maybe because Jupiter did go direct. Who knows? Who knows? All of it. I'm leaving it there. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. This was amazing. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.